Hey everyone, hope you're doing good today. June 15th, you opened your first email from me and you have been going strong ever since. I hope you have been practicing those 4 ingredients that Crystal talked about on the Zoom meeting a few weeks ago. Listening, reading, writing, and speaking. I hope you're participating fully in all we're offering you by listening to the videos, reading the documents we're sending you, writing in response to those journaling prompts, and then speaking what you're learning to someone else. That's when learning happens, and that's when your neural pathways begin to change. Practicing the 4 learning ingredients. Now I want to talk to you about 3 growth ingredients. Ingredients necessary for growth to take place in your life, especially emotional growth. We have seasons in our life where we have more growth than others. I've seen over and over again in my life, personally and in my career, that most growth comes from people traveling through difficulties. That's true for me. I've had a steady stream of learning and processing that have raised me up. But when I look at the greatest times of emotional growth in my life, it's in the darkest times that I've become. Remember that definition of transformation that I gave you that very first week? Transformation isn't sweet and bright. It's dark and murky. It's painful pushing. It's an unraveling of the untruths you've carried in your body. A practice in facing your own created demons. A complete uprooting before becoming. I've done some uprooting. In one of my greatest / darkest times, I read a book that really became a foundational piece for years of healing, and honestly still is. It was written by Dr. Henry Cloud, and it's called Changes That Heal. It's on my book list, and it's a powerful book combining theology and psychology for deep and permanent change. Dr. Cloud opened the book explaining 3 necessary ingredients for growth and change. And I'm going to talk about 2 of them today, and I'm going to save the 3rd one for Thursday's video. The first 2, grace and truth. Grace is the first ingredient necessary for growth. Grace, what is that anyway? It's an unbroken, uninterrupted, unearned, accepting relationship. We need it from God. We need it from others, and we need it for ourselves. It's that kind of thing where you can be exactly who you are. You don't have to hide your thoughts or feelings, and someone who knows you, really knows you, loves you anyway. Grace is forgiving, and it's freedom, and it's peace. We need grace to grow. But here's the thing. Grace alone lacks something. We can't keep repeating behavior depending on grace to make us feel better. We can't keep forgiving a person who's a repeat offender with no intentions of changing. And we can't keep extending grace to ourselves for a lifetime of behavior that's hurting us and allowing us to stay stuck in that behavior. Grace alone keeps us excusing our behavior. Grace alone keeps saying, it's okay. We might love how grace feels, but remember, we're talking about the ingredients for growth. Grace alone doesn't require us to grow. On your program, grace might sound like, I'll do better next week. Or, you didn't put this weight on overnight. It's okay that it's taken you 5 to 10 years to lose it. Or, I love myself just like I am. I know I'm 50 pounds above my healthy weight, but weight happens. I'll start when things settle down. You can't expect me to follow a healthy diet now. Have you ever said those kinds of things to yourself? Now, honestly, we do need to say some things like that to ourselves. We do need to extend grace to ourselves. We really do sometimes. But grace alone won't produce growth. You can see why. Those statements alone will keep you stuck, keep you right where you are. We need a second ingredient for growth: truth. Truth is the guidance that steers us away from trouble. Truth helps us set healthy limits with others and ourselves. Truth is what is real. It describes how things really are. As grace is the relational aspect of God's character, truth is the structural aspect of His character, and ours too. Truth is the law. It's the structure that life hangs on. And although we need truth to grow alone, much like grace alone, it's not effective. No one ever grows when they just have truth, just law. Truth alone brings about guilt and anxiety and anger. Truth without grace destroys us. It holds us prisoner. On your program, truth might sound like this: you can't have that. That's not on your program. You weigh too much and you've got to do something about it. You need to get your act together. You're weak. You've had your weight on for a long time. It's going to be hard to change. Have you ever said those things to yourself? Truthful things, but those alone discourage us, and it keeps us stuck for sure. And here's the thing with those two ingredients: truth without grace is deadly. You won't grow talking to yourself that way. But grace without truth, well, that leads to unsuccessful living too. Truth without grace is judgment. And grace without truth might be called license. We won't grow with just one or the other. We need both. What would it look like to tell yourself the truth this week while extending grace? Grace and truth are a healing combination because they help with one of the main barriers to all growth: guilt. Guilt and shame can send us into hiding, and growth doesn't happen in hiding. Grace looks like acceptance and curiosity and forgiveness and understanding. Truth looks like limits and self-control and discipline and direction, and in our case, math. Both are needed to heal. Both must be present to grow and change. And now, just one more ingredient, and I'm going to talk about that on Thursday. So in the meantime, until then, tell yourself the truth and extend grace to yourself. It's that combination that's life-changing and will help you to grow in ways you've never grown before. Look forward to talking about that third ingredient next time I see you. Talk to you later.